Good evening, fam. Twisted Beard, GoodMoFos R5, here with you this evening. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. Just wanted to take a couple moments here tonight to look at the new X24 heroes that were just released. I know all of you are as excited as I am to get to know the two new heroes a bit better, and I thought what better way to take a closer look than for us to do it together. So I've taken a really quick once-over glance at both of them. I've got a little bit of an idea of what's going on with them, but to be perfectly honest, I have not really taken too close of a peek just yet, so we're going to do that together here for the first time, and I am very excited to dig in a little bit deeper with you and see what's in store. So from what I saw initially, I am liking the looks of both of them. Let's jump into Olive first. He's first on the list. Olive, first thing that is going to jump right out at you is that Olive is both a cavalry hero as well as an archery hero. So he's a first in that regard. There are a couple other heroes that are footy, cavalry, and archer, but Olive is the first that is cavalry or archer without the footman aspect happening there as well. So that's unique, that's different, that's interesting. The recommended heroes that it's showing are Don Quixote, Louis, and then Olive. As we all know, the recommended heroes are rarely what you actually want to be going with, but that is what it's showing. Often used, nothing yet. Top players pick, nothing yet, as they're still brand new. We can safely assume it's not going to be Don Quixote, Louis, Olive, though. Looking at the skills, let's jump into the first one there. We'll look at the max levels because we're all going to get it maxed as fast as we can. When Olive carries different unit types, different effects are triggered. Cavalry, plus 35% counter effect against cavalry and archers, minus 35% counter effect taken from them. Archers, plus 35% counter effect against footmen and archers, minus 35% counter effect taken from them. So essentially what's going on there, and it's going to be happening whether you use Olive as a cavalry or an archer hero, is that he is going to be less susceptible to counterattacks and more likely to do counterattacks himself. More or less is what's going on. The buff is 35% for both cavalry and archer. This is a good skill. It's not a great skill. It's not horrible. It's not wonderful. It will help him as he needs a little bit of extra defense, but it's certainly not what's going to make him worthy of your legions and or special. But that is there. Let's look at his fifth skill next. This is the one that's his knockout. This is where he really shines bright. Strike of Light, fifth skill. Each round, 100% chance to deal 725% skill damage to 2 to 3 random enemy squads, and then the hero enters a weakened state until the end of the round. Obviously, the latter part of that is not great. Him entering a weakened state, we're going to want to put Olive almost certainly in the third row because of that. But that, I believe, is the strongest skill damage of any hero right now, even paid heroes, assuming that he hits the 3 targets in the one round. So even if he only hits 2 targets, it's got a 100% chance of success, so minimally speaking, he's going to be doing 1550, 1,550% total damage each round. If he hits 3, that's going up to 2175. So that's just massive. You know, that's just massive. Sorry, he's going to be doing 1450. I think I said 1550 accidentally at the beginning. So he's going to be doing minimally 1450 and potentially up to 2175. So that's wonderful. That's great. That's huge. I don't think anybody's hitting quite that hard, whether they're paid, and certainly I believe that's the highest guaranteed skill damage for any free-to-play hero. So he's looking really good in that regard. He's going to be doing, that skill's going to be active whether he's an archer or whether he's cavalry. So that's going to work either way. So that's wonderful as well. Looking at the last skill, after each normal attack, Olive triggers effects based on the unit type. Archers, plus 150% might and resistance, 65% chance to remove debuffs. Cavalry, minus 150% targets might and resistance, 65% chance to remove debuffs. So with both the cavalry and the archer, you're going to get the 65% chance to remove any debuffs. That's wonderful. That's a great skill in and of itself. But on top of that, as an archer, you are going to hit harder, 150% harder after each normal attack. And with cavalry, each time you land a hit, the recipient, the enemy, is going to go down 150% in might and resistance. So that's great. That last skill, that final 8th skill, is wonderful as well. So first skill, on a level of 1 to 10, first skill's maybe a 3. 5th skill is an 11. It's a wonderful attack skill, that 5th skill. And then the 8th skill is also really strong. I would give that a solid, 7 or an 8. So on the whole, Olive is looking really, really, really good. Really good. Really good. You're going to want him. You're going to want him fast. You're going to want him maxed. You're going to want to use him this X24. We'll come back to possible combo options here in a moment. Let's jump over to Garant. Garant, one of King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table. That's cool. Garant, let's look at his second skill. Actually, before we do that, we'll look at the suggested legions. Harold, Garant, Gustav. I doubt that's going to be what you want to do. Again, that's almost never accurate, but there it is. Let's jump into his second skill. For the first 4 rounds of a battle, all friendly squads have an 85% chance to restore some troop power when taking damage. Recovery rate 75%. Garant enjoys double the restoration effect. So that's very solid. I wish it went all 8 rounds, but most battles are going to be decided in the first 4. So it's going to be there, better to have it in the first 4 than the last 4. So it's going to be there at the beginning when you need it. 85% chance is very likely. It's going to be every time you take damage, you have an 85% chance to restore. The recovery rate is 75%, and Garant himself is going to do 150%. He's going to do double that. So that's a wonderful skill. Healing is always great. Anytime I see healing, I'm always happy. And, some healing is better than others. When you have an 85% to restore troop power at a 75% recovery rate, whenever you take damage, that's wonderful. I'm happy to see that. That's a strong skill. That's a very strong skill for that second skill. So we're very happy to see that. We jump to the 5th skill. I think this is where Garant really is going to shine as well. Deadly Roar, 5th skill, just like Olive. Before the battle starts, 2 random enemy squads enter a timid state. 70% chance to fail when casting active skills and take 300% skill damage themselves. That's absolutely huge. So 2 out of the 3 enemy legions have a more than 2 in 3 chance to fail when casting their active skills. That's their combat skills. That's where most damage is dealt, is through combat skills. So you're essentially neutralizing 2/3 of the enemy's offensive capability. It's going to hit 2 of their 3 heroes, and it's going to have an over 2 in 3 shot of working every time they try and cast an attack skill. So that's just massive in and of itself. And then when 2 of the 3 again take 300% skill damage, it's absolutely huge. This 5th skill is just massive, huge, big. He's absolutely a first tier hero just based off of this skill right here. Absolutely, no doubt, 100%. Let's jump to his last skill. For the first 2 rounds of a battle, Garant helps take 25% of the damage inflicted on the other 2 friendly squads. So damage sharing, essentially. When his HP drops below 50%, he enters a berserk state. Gains sober, combo, and splash effects, damage rate 100%, and restores some troop power equal to 100% of the damage dealt, lasting 2 rounds. So for the first 2 rounds, he is going to help take damage, help split the damage. And that's nice that he's going to be doing that. When his HP drops below 50%, he enters the Berserk state, gains sober, combo, and splash effects. His damage rate is going to go up. He's going to have some additional healing effects, so that's nice. It's a good skill. It's kind of multi-purpose. It's not anywhere near as good as the 5th skill, but it's solid. It's definitely solid. So you get a little bit of defense there, you get a little bit of healing there, you get a little bit of attack there. It's solid. It's solid. It's solid. Kind of just helps add to him being a well-balanced hero, more or less. So one more quick look at Garant. First 4 rounds of battle, all friendly squads have 85% chance to restore some troop power when taking damage. Recovery rate 75%. Garant enjoys double the restoration effect. And so what's nice there is he, with that 8th skill, he's going to take damage from whenever anybody gets hit. And he's going to get double the healing effect, which means he's just going to be healing like crazy those first couple rounds. He's going to take damage from the other heroes. He's going to get 150% every time he takes damage. That 150% healing he's going to get is probably going to be more healing, more recovery than the 25% share of the damage that he's taking. So he's not really going to get hurt. So that's good. This skill pairs well with his 8th and final skill. So that's good. That's good. You got some some nice play together there. Before the battle starts, 2 random enemy squads enter a timid state, 70% chance to fail when casting active skills, and 300% skill damage themselves. That is just massive. That is just huge when paired with somebody that does big skill damage. And who does big skill damage? The other new hero, Olive. So let's come to that here right now. So we've looked at the 2 heroes individually. Let's talk a little bit about possible combos. My initial gut reaction is that Garant and Olive are going to work exceedingly well together, and that, the game's skills don't often pair the way that they're supposed to in terms of, different heroes having a symbiotic relationship with their skills the way that they're supposed to. But Garant and Olive should be huge together because Garant has healing that Olive needs. Garant has extra defense that Olive needs. Garant, prevents the enemy from attacking, which Olive needs because he's weak, remember, from his 5th skill. But most importantly, Garant is going to take 2 of the 3 enemy squads and make it so they take 300% more skill damage. And then when we look at Olive, every round, he has a 100% chance to deal 725% skill damage to 2 to 3 enemy squads. Now you multiply that by 300%, and we're talking just absolutely crazy, devastating numbers. So my initial gut reaction is if the heroes work together the way that they're supposed to, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, but that Garant and Olive are going to be an almost unstoppable combination together. Olive in the 3rd row, Garant in the 2nd row, and then it's going to be a matter of who goes best in that 1st row. I haven't done any testing yet, and just on the face of it, in most situations, I think I do like Olive better as an archer. archers just deal massive damage. And the way that the skills are structured is that the archers are going to do better against the footmen, unless I read that wrong, and we can double check to be sure. And footmen are kind of strong right now. They're a little, I won't call them overpowered, but footmen are doing well right now with Alex and Harold and Gustav and, you know, some of the others out there right now. So if Olive can get the advantage, let's just check. If Olive can get the advantage against archers, when Olive carries cavalry, archers counter. Yeah, yep. So when we put Olive as an archer, he's going to do better against footmen than if he was cavalry based on his skills. And for a really nice mixed legion, you know, Garant as footy, Olive as archer. And yeah, I could be wrong. It might be cavalry for Olive too, but he's just got that massive skill damage. But I like Olive as archer. But as far as the first row goes, I was thinking about that a little bit just now, and possible contenders. You want somebody who can eat a lot of damage. You want somebody who's strong in that first row. You want somebody who can heal. And you want somebody who can amplify the skill damage even further. The first one that was coming to mind was Cyrus. Let's take a little peek at Cyrus real quick. So Cyrus, he's got some other good skills, but I wanted to look at a few. So all friendly cavalry squads gain the Storm Cavalry effect when casting a combat skill, deals 40% more damage when launching an additional attack. So that jacks up your cavalry attacks. Yeah, so in this instance, if we put Cyrus in the first row and we made Olive cavalry, Olive would get an additional 40% skill damage from Cyrus's fifth skill. So potentially Cyrus as cavalry, of course, and then Garant as footy, and then Olive as cavalry might be really, really nice. So when you need to go cavalry, if you have Cyrus, you go Cyrus, Garant, Olive, cavalry for Olive. That could be really, really good. The other one that I think could be really, really good, and sorry to use another paid hero, but Al Harwa, she's strong generally. That defense is nice right there. Make the enemy unable to. Yeah, make the enemy unable to deal damage. That's nice. Skill damage is nice, but I think it's her 8th skill. Yes, so if we wanted to make Olive an archer, all friendly archer squads gain the Phantom effect when casting a combat skill, 30% chance to increase the skill damage by 50%, and then 50% chance to cast this skill once more. Wow. The effectiveness of the two effects will be determined independently. So if you wanted to make Olive an archer, and you have Al Harwa, I think Al Harwa, Garant, Olive as an archer could be really, really, really good. So cavalry again. So Garant in the middle both times is going to be my top prediction. But when you want to go cavalry for Olive, I think first choice is going to be Cyrus for that front row. And when you want to go Olive with archers, I think Al Harwa is going to be first choice for that front row. There are other options, certainly. Gustav is just a beast on defense generally. So parking Gustav in the front row very well might work nicely. You're not going to get that buff to skill damage, which I like for her. Let's look at Gustav real quick. Yeah, no. No. I mean, Gustav might be good in the front row just for some chunky defense. Galahad is not out of the question when you want to use archers. I'm trying to think of some free-to-play. heroes for you too there. Don Quixote, Roland for the first row, certainly worth testing. Harold in the first row, worth testing. But I think optimally for cavalry, Cyrus, Garant, Olive. And for archers, you're going to go El Harwa, Garant, Olive. That's my prediction. Whatever happens with my prediction, certainly these are heroes you want to have. They are going to be useful. They're going to be wonderful. I'm really optimistic about both of these X24 heroes. I'm excited to use my tickets and get all these guys maxed and begin testing right away. But yeah, Olive, Garant, X24 heroes, they are released. I'm sure you're going to be able to use orange tickets next week. You have your X24 Eden tickets from last season if you haven't used them yet. Get ready for these guys. They're going to be wonderful for you. Just a last tip before I go as it relates to the new heroes. I'm going to tell you what I do. You guys, I want to hear your strategies in the comments section, so do let me know, but I'll tell you mine. When I want, so the whole, what everybody's trying to do is get the new heroes maxed using as few of your orange tickets as possible when the time comes, as quickly as possible. You want to get them maxed as fast as possible using as few orange tickets as possible. So what I will do, and this worked really well for me last season, I'm going to do it again this season. I'm thinking it's going to work well again. I'm hoping it does anyways. So first thing I do, I'm going to wait for the new heroes to come out. When they come out, I'm going to start using orange tickets. Usually you're going to get one of the heroes in a skewed amount more than the other one, and you want to get both of them maxed, not just one. Maxing one is not the goal, it's maxing both. And the way it goes, it usually goes skewed. So you're going to be sitting at 20 copies, you need 34 of each to max them. You're going to be sitting at 20 copies of one and 10 of the other, or 30 copies of one and 12 of the other, or 15 of the other, or 30, and then you're going to get to your 34 copies of one, and you're still going to be at 15 or whatever at the other. So what I'll do, instead of using my X24 tickets right away, I will use a good chunk of my orange tickets first, and I will see which way the skew is going, okay? And if I'm at 20 on one hero and 10 on the other, or 25 on one and 12 on the other, or whatever the skew is doing, I will then use my X24 tickets to try and balance out that skew. As in, I will use my X24 tickets to try and go for the hero that I have less of, in hopes to get caught up to the hero that I have more of, so that I can get to 34 at approximately the same time. So I'm not getting, you don't want to be at 60 copies of the first hero by the time you get to 34 of the other. And if you use your X24 tickets first and you end up winning the hero with those, that is the hero that you're getting the skew on, you are going to end up with 60 copies of one or 50 copies of one by the time you get to the 34 of the other, and you don't want that. It's going to cost a lot more orange tickets in the end. So my advice is use your orange tickets first. Wait till you get the first one to 15 or 20 and then see where you're sitting with the other one. If it's close, just keep going a little bit further. If it's close, keep going a little bit further. If you're starting to get close to 34 on each and it's still balanced, then split your tickets half and half on each of the heroes, and try 2 or 3 on the first package and 2 or 3 on the second package. Otherwise, wait, and if it's skewed, go heavy on the one that you're behind on. Try and catch up. That'll allow you to do it with the least amount of orange tickets. Okay, Olive, Garant, get them fast, max them fast, put them to use, do lots of testing. Again, one last time, my suggestion, my prediction, it's going to be Cyrus, Garant, Olive for cavalry. It's going to be El Harwa, Garant, Olive for archers. All right, my friends, until the next video, you all take good care. Please do remember to like and subscribe to the video. Please do drop your comments. Please do let us know which videos you want to see next. Really, really, really appreciate all the positive feedback and support. You guys are awesome. We love you. Best of luck this coming Eden, and best from everybody at the GoodMoFos. Take good care now. Bye-bye.